welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about the new re-release of a Hourglass palette that I have been dying to get my hands on for a while now. And Charlotte Tilbury launched these lippies that are only available for a week. I don't know what the deal is, but I ordered all of them. Many of you guys asked me about them. I didn't even know they were on the website, to be honest. You guys know I cannot resist anything Charlotte Tilbury. I think it's a sickness, but it is what it is. So I decided to pick all 5 of the shades up and try them all for you and give you guys my 411 on them, which I have a lot to say. And also this palette, which is finally re-released on the Hourglass website. This has been out of stock for a long time. I think I've been waiting for this probably over 2 years now. It's been a minute. So this is the Sheer Color Trio, and these are all creams. So you have a cream bronzer, a cream blush, and a cream highlighter. This is in the shade Sunset. So I wanted to pick this up, try it out on my skin tone, which for those of you that are new to my channel, I am a medium with a golden undertone. And I will leave a list in the description box down below of foundation shades that I wear in, you know, popular foundations that are out on the market, so you can use it as a reference. So I decided to pick this up. It was $62 on the Hourglass website, and I'm going to try it out for you guys, give you guys my full thoughts on it. I'm also going to swatch compare this to a couple other, you know, cream products that I have in my collection. So we'll get into that later on. These from Charlotte Tilbury are called New Tinted Love. It says right on the website, 1 week only. Weird, right? I know. These are $34 each, and there are 5 shades total. So like I said, I bought all 5 shades for you just so that you guys could see all of the shades and what they look like. It says, imprint your lips and cheeks with a hydrating, long-lasting color that glides on wet and leaves your lips and cheeks with a sweet, natural-looking satin stain finish. Lots to say about these and lots to get into. And I did use this palette on my face. I used the cheek color in here so you guys could see what this color looks like. But while I was trying these lip stains on, I did try one of the shades on my cheeks. So just so that I could try it out and give you guys my thoughts on it. So that's what we're talking about in today's video. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the application of testing out both of these products, giving you the 411 on them, then we'll jump into the swatches and comparisons, and then I will jump into my final thoughts. So I will see you guys then. Okay, so I'm gonna test this palette out from Hourglass. This is the prototype of the Refer number 17. I have 2 of them. This one's dirty, this one's clean. I'm gonna grab this shade right here. That gave me a contoured look. It's a little bit cooler toned against my warm skin. So as I pull my hair back, you can see, you know, this is the side without, this is the side with. It's a little bit gray on my warm skin, so I might have to warm it up with like a bronzer or something. So let's go up and add a little bit up on the forehead. It's cooler toned, but it's not dark enough. So for me, it kind of turns gray. You know how when you're using any type of contour, if the shade is a cool undertone and it's not dark enough and you have a warm undertone, it will kind of turn gray. So I don't know that I love this on my skin tone. I don't know. I don't love it. Let's go ahead and move on to the blush. So I'm going to grab my blush brush and I'm going to grab this shade. So the blush is very pretty. Okay, so I think the blush is very pretty. It's a very natural flush of color. It's not too strong, so it looks really natural, and I like this. I like the blush. Let's move on to the highlighter. For the highlighter, I'm going to use my sponge. So I'm gonna go in and grab this and let's place it here. Okay, so the sponge really doesn't work, so let's do the finger. So the highlighter, I think it's okay, but it's not very, it's very light. It's a very, very light highlighter. It's not super pigmented. It's not super shimmery. So let's go ahead and add some powder and see if powder affects this, because you can tell I am actually wearing my Tom Ford Stick Foundation. It's one of my absolute favorites. It's in the shade 7.2 Sepia, and I love this, but I definitely reflect off of the lights. As you can see, my skin will reflect when I'm wearing a very hydrating foundation. When I'm using a cream contour, I like to set it with powder because it feels like it lasts longer if I kind of set it in place with powder. You know, so just as I've powdered, I feel like once I powdered, I lost some of the contour. I can see it a little bit, but I feel like I've lost some of the blush and some of the contour, which is kind of a bummer, you know? So let's go ahead and add a little bit more blush on top of the powder. Just to kind of bring it back to life. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. We're gonna go ahead and jump into using these new lippy products from Charlotte Tilbury, and then we will get into the swatches and comparisons, and then I'll jump into my final thoughts. So I will see you guys in a sec. So let's go ahead and open up the new shades from Charlotte Tilbury, the Tinted Love. These are lip and cheek tints. So we're gonna try them all on. And I think I might go lightest to darkest because if these are lip stains, and the boxes are, of course, so cute. Like, she always does a great job on packaging. So it is just in a regular bottle. So this is the applicator. Let's put Santa Euphoria on. So I don't really feel like I put anything on. Where's the color? Maybe I gotta mix it up. Hold on. Okay. So this is just a light tint. Oh, okay, now I'm seeing why this is. Okay, so this is Santa Euphoria. So as you can see as I swatch it, it is light. So that's the reason why I'm not really seeing a lot of color. I will say though, it seems like as it's drying, it might be darkening a tiny bit, but this one is more of a clear. So hopefully this next shade works. This is called Petal Pink, and this is what Petal Pink looks like. It's quite liquidy and it's not very opaque. This one has a little bit of a tone to it. Don't mind this one. As it's sat here, it does look very natural. So let's wipe this off before it dries too much. So you can tell that these are a stain. They're just not that colorful. Okay, let's move on to Bohemian Kiss. Okay, now this one has more opacity. Okay, so let's try that on. Oh yeah. Now you're starting to see some color come through. Bohemian Kiss definitely has some color to it. I don't mind this one. I don't mind this one at all. This one's definitely more natural and I don't mind it. It does look pretty good. This one is Tripping on Love. This is like a really dark berry. This one's really pretty. color is probably my favorite out of the colors that I've used thus far. This will probably be the one that I wear throughout the rest of the day and see how long it lasts. But this is a pretty color, and it is a kind of a natural stain. It kind of is what it is. It just kind of stains the lips. So we'll definitely see how long it lasts. The final color that we have is Love Chain. So for those who love red, this one's a very soft red. It's a little bit more of a pink for me than a red, but I don't mind this one either. Okay, I'm gonna hurry and wipe this off because this is not the color I'm gonna wear. Before I jump into the swatches and comparisons, I wanna take the shade Tripping on Love. I'm gonna put some here on the back of my hand, and I'm gonna grab it on a brush, and let's just try to apply it on the cheek and see what it looks like. So we're gonna apply it on this side. So I kind of dipped my brush in. Okay, so that gave it color, didn't it? Not a lot, but I didn't really use a lot, and you'd probably get more if you went in and kind of tapped it in on your finger. But because I already kind of have blush on, I didn't want to go too heavy-handed with it. I don't know that I'll use it for a cheek stain, but it worked. And it, you know, doesn't look gross or anything on the skin, so that's interesting. Let's go ahead and match it on the other side. So again, I just put a little teeny bit on the back of my hand, and then I'm taking the brush and kind of going in and kind of spreading it into the brush before going on my skin with it. That's it for the tutorial. Let's go ahead and jump into the swatches and comparisons, and then I will jump into my final thoughts. So I will see you guys then. We've made it through the tutorial and the swatches. Let me go ahead and get into my final thoughts. I'm going to start with this palette. So this shade right here is the exact same shade as the Tarte Breezy Cream Bronzer in the shade Seychelles. So these two are exactly the same. Exactly. Like, they feel exactly the same, and they apply the exact same way. If you have this shade from Tarte, you have the shade from Hourglass. They're pretty identical, which was kind of surprising to me. I also found a pretty close match to the blush in this palette. This is from Wander Beauty. This is the Double Date Lip and Cheek in the shade Sweet Talker. I would say the only difference is the one from Hourglass is not as shiny. So as you can see, this is the Wander Beauty, and it's more shiny. The Hourglass is a little bit more of a mattified look. It's not as shiny to the skin. Color is kind of similar. This one is a little bit more peachy, and this one is a little bit more on the pink side. However, I think once you put them on the cheek, I don't know that they'll look that much different. So I just wanted to mention that. And then finally, the highlighter. So I found the exact same highlighter in this blush palette from Nars. So this is called the Overlust Cheek Palette. This shade right up here at the top, the very first shade in the palette, these two are not really the same tone, but they're the same texture. That's the reason why I'm talking about this Overlust palette from Nars, because this one has the same texture. It's a little bit low intensity highlight, so it's not very strong. Some of the highlighters that I have that are a cream texture, they're a little bit more bold, a little bit more strong. These two are more subtle on the skin. They're not very strong highlighters. So that's the reason why I'm giving that comparison. They're not the same shade, but they're the same intensity and the same texture. So I have to say, my thoughts on this palette is not gonna work for my skin tone and darker. It's just not. These two shades, they might. It depends on how deep you go, but this shade is a complete waste for anyone that's my skin tone and deeper, which is kind of a bummer because this has been off the market for so long. They had plenty of time to release more shades in this and give a little bit more variety I mean, I'm not asking for like a smorgasbord of shades, but a little bit more variety, just maybe one or two other palettes. I think if you have a light to a light medium skin tone, I think this will be really pretty on you. But anybody that's medium and darker, I just don't think it's gonna work. If you guys were thinking that maybe this might possibly work for you if you're around my skin tone, I wouldn't waste my money on it if it was me. I just feel like there's a lot of great cream products out on the market right now that have a really nice variety of shades, and I think that, you know, it's not really worth spending $62 for 3 shades if you can't use all 3 of them. It applies beautifully. I didn't have any issues with the texture. It doesn't look muddy on the skin. It actually looks pretty good on the skin as far as that goes. I don't think this is a bad palette at all. I actually think the formula is a decent, good formula. And I think the shades that they chose is good because it's a very easy kind of one and done palette to pick up, but you just have to have a skin tone that will work for it. And that's my biggest complaint. I just wish that while they had this off the market, they could have given at least one more palette. That's my overall thoughts on it. I don't think it's a bad formula, but I think they missed a big opportunity to release different shades in it. So let's talk about the lippies. So right now I'm wearing the shade Tripping on Love. When I went off camera, I went to put them on with lip liners. So I first tried this one from Charlotte Tilbury, which is the shade Hollywood Honey. And it just did not work. It didn't blend very good into the lip liner. And so I thought, well, maybe it's because it's a darker shade. So, but I thought they would match because they kind of look like they would. So then I grabbed the shade Iconic Nude, thinking, well, I'll contour my lips, you know, because I like to use lip liner to contour my lips and make them look and appear to be a little bit bigger, you know? So I went ahead and contoured my lip and brought a little bit of it down onto the actual lip. And then when I went in with this, I don't like the way that these wear with a lip liner. It just did not want to blend together. This is such a creamy, different formula that it just didn't want to work and blend into a lip liner. It kind of started to kind of ball up around the lip liner. Right now my lips feel hella dry. I just want to say that out loud. My lips feel really dry. But I haven't wanted to add anything to them before I came back on camera. This has been on for about 2 hours. So let me come in close so you guys can see what it looks like as far as the stain goes. You can see that it's kind of wore down, but this would be the time that I would apply maybe a lip gloss or something. But I don't know. My lips feel really, really dry right now, and it's really driving me crazy. They feel more dry than normal. And normally I don't feel this dryness. So the formula has a little bit of a dryness to it. So if you have dry lips, this might not be a formula for you. But I do want to grab the Charlotte Tilbury gloss. This is in the shade Walk of No Shame. And I'm just going to put this over top. And finally, you guys, I needed something. I needed something on my lips. They were just so dry. So that kind of revived it and gave it some life. And I will continue to wear it because I kind of feel like with this formula, you're not going to be able to wear it all day without adding anything to it. Throughout the rest of the evening, I want to see if I can add stuff to it and still maintain the color. So when I'm editing, I will let you guys know right here at the bottom of the screen how long this lasts and when it started to kind of look funky. I will say though, if you're looking for a really, really good lip stain, I recommend the ones from L'Oreal. I would not spend $32 on these. I just don't really feel like they're worth the money, to be honest. This is my favorite. It's the Perfect Nude. This is in the shade 416 I create. Doesn't say what these are called, but I will list these in the description box down below. These are very, very affordable, and they do stain the lip. And the darker the color you go, the more stain you get. But I will say this is a very buildable formula. So when I put one coat of this on, it looks, you know, kind of light and more nude, a little bit more natural. But when I go in with a second coat, once it's dried, it really takes effect and really gives you some color. So I just kind of don't, I'm not living for these. I will use them because I have them, but I don't know. If you're wanting to try them, I would go for the darker colors because I just kind of feel like even like this is like the perfect nude, and this was the color I was hoping it was going to be. It just doesn't have a lot of color to it. So I'm putting it on. This is the shade Santa Euphoria, okay? And as I'm applying it on my hand, it just doesn't have very much color. I don't know. I don't really understand these. If you want to compare it to this L'Oreal, which is completely a lip stain, like these from L'Oreal are totally a lip stain. Look at the opacity that that has. And as you're blending it out on the lip, it really blends out beautifully and stains the lip so nicely. That's what these nude shades are missing. So like this one and this pink one, these two are almost colorless. All they do is kind of intensify your natural lip color is what they do. And I just don't really feel like they're worth it. So those are my final thoughts on both of these products. Have you guys bought any of the things that I discussed in today's video? If you have, sound off down below. Let us know your guys' thoughts on it. Now, I just got these today, so I'm curious if you guys have already bought these and you got them before I did. If you're liking them, if you don't like them, let us know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in today's video. I hope you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you all in my next video. Love you. Bye.